Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Randall Coleman. You are listening to the Only Essential podcast. I'm so excited to get this podcast going. This is episode 001. Again, this is episode 1. I have a special guest on the show with me today. But before we get to the special guest, I want to tell you all a little bit about the show. The whole point of the show is to highlight Black people who have essential businesses, services, and or products. All right. Again, Black people that have essential businesses, services, and or products. And so throughout the course of this show and other shows in the future, you will hear me talk to people who have a wide array of opportunities that they provide to the general public that you can do business with, that you can purchase from them, whether it be within your region or online. So keep that in mind. But on the show today, I have a special guest. His name is Mr. Jon Carter. I call him Mr. Jon Carter, but he also goes by Coach Carter. So I'd like you all to welcome Coach Carter onto the show.
Right.
All right, Coach Carter, Mr. Jon. I call you Mr. Jon, so I'm gonna stick to that. Mr. Jon, can you just say hi to the people and tell everybody who you are and a little bit of what you do?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jon Carter. A lot of kids call me Coach Carter because I am a assistant football coach at the Woodland Hills High School. I am also an employee of the University of Pittsburgh, where I do integrated security, which is to secure the university in case of any type of outside interference or any technical difficulties with a person trying to just to save the university in a sense. And I also own my own landscaping company, which I've been doing for over 30 years now.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So today I really want to focus on what you do in terms of your landscaping company. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in that? You know, when did it start and what prompted you to get started within that field?
Well, I had an uncle by the name of Leroy May.
Okay.
I used to ask him to give me change, like any other kid would. Give me $1, give me $1. But he took me one day and said, I'm not going to give you $1, but I'm going to show you how to make some dollars. So he said, be ready at 6 a.m. So
and how old were you at this point?
Probably around 12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. So when back then had the value of $5 now. So yeah. So he picked me up with my mother's approval, of course, and he said, "Well, I'm gonna show you how to make some dollars." So he took us to one of his customers' house, pulled out the lawnmower, and said, "This is your start right here. So this is how you earn." So from those lessons that I learned from him, it just stuck with me, and I just ended up liking how it's like giving someone a haircut when you cut a yard. You like to see the edges, you like to see it nice and tight. You know what I'm saying? So from that, you just fell in love with it.
Wow. That's amazing. Shout out to Uncle Leroy. So when you were working with him, what specific things was he showing you, and what specific things did you learn from him throughout the course of your time together?
Well, first of all, he showed me how to. Even though cutting yards is a simple task, but to cut it with perfection, like you're doing how you want to do things, not just doing it like a half job. You know what I'm saying? Something that just to get it done. You want everything to look neat as possible. So his. When we first started, we wanted to run through the job, push the lawnmower as fast as we can. The lines were crooked and grass sticking up and everything. And he just showed us how to slow down and do it right. Take your time, and you want to make this look as perfect as possible. So from those things, I pass it on to the youth that work with me now. You got to slow down sometime, and it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
Wonderful. And now when you're doing your landscaping business, what regions do you focus on? What areas?
like in like Penn Hills, Swissville, Braddock, Homewood, um, Bell Silver. I think
Okay.
that's what that area is called.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. And
Um,
just and
Monroeville.
gotcha. And just for the audience to know, if you're, we are, he's based out of Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. So if you're in the city of Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, that's where Mr. Jon is located. And if you're, based outside of that and you're wondering what is Homewood and what is Belsuver, that's what we're referring to, some of the neighborhoods within the city itself. So, so yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you were a young man, you were learning these skills at 12, 13, you said, but there's a bit of a gap, right? So out after, middle school and high school, you went off to do some other things, correct?
Yes, I
All right. And
did.
can you tell the people what it is that you did in your, college life and your young adult life?
Well, I was a football player. I played at the University of Pittsburgh. So
Okay.
that's where my ties in at the university is. And I also went on to play in the NFL, played for the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Also in the World League for Frankfurt Galaxy and the Raleigh Durham Skyhawks.
And when you were at Pitt,
Yeah,
what did you study?
mhm.
When you were at Pitt, what did you study?
Well, I came out with a liberal arts degree.
Okay.
Uh, was a general degree, which covers a wide variety of things. I made a promise to my mother that before I leave the university that I would hand her my diploma, which I did.
Hmm. Yeah. And then, one thing I noticed, because, I played college ball as well. I played high school football. At a certain point, you have to hang up the cleats, right? And
Right.
when you do that, people have sometimes a hard time figuring out what they want to do next. So did you always had a plan for post football life? And if you didn't, how did you figure out what you were going to do as a career after the game was over for you?
That was tough because, as a youth and as a college athlete, and you have dreams and aspirations about playing professional sports, and that becomes your main focus. So it's not a lot of stuff that goes outside that bubble because your focus is trying to accomplish that task and stay in it.
Hmm.
So, but when the reality hit, when football life was over, I mean,
Yeah.
I had a son, I had a wife, I had to provide for. So I mean, I started off as a liquor salesman.
Okay.
So for a company called McKinsey and Company, which sold wines and spirits to the state of Pennsylvania. So from that, the owner actually liked athletes because he liked the determination, the drive,
Hmm.
the not, the no, don't say no, or what I'm trying to say, what the type of attitude that the athletes carry. You know what I mean? Like I'm the
Yeah.
best, but I'm gonna get the best out of whatever I do.
Yes.
So and that kind of helped drive my force because working for someone else, I always wanted to start something myself, and I just reached back into my childhood days or something that to make a little extra dollars to help with different items because I like toys, of course,
Hmm.
and so that was one way to bring the income. So a friend of mine had an accident actually that really got me really started off.
Mm.
He had a muscular dystrophy, and he was
Wow.
cutting his own yard one day, and he accidentally lost balance and actually cut off two of his toes.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, and from that, because we were real good friends, I was like, "How can I help you out any kind of way?" And he was like, "Well, if you can help me cut my yard, could I get back on my feet?" Which he never really did, and that's how I started. And
Gotcha.
from that one yard, man, it just grew because people would stop by, like how the yard looked, and start inquiring, and word of mouth just pass it on. So most of my properties come by word of mouth. So, and people enjoyed the way I did things because I was very technical uh, about how I did things, try to be neat as possible. So
Mm.
from that. our business is built to what it is today.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And one thing about football players, to touch upon that a little bit more, is you know we, like you said before, you have those characteristics, you have that mindset that comes with playing the game that can be transferred into other fields. So do you look for what do you look for whenever you hire people and stuff? Do you look for other football players as well, or are you looking for people just with a certain mindset that is suitable for what you do?
Yeah, it's a certain mindset you look for because you asking a person to go out when a lot of people want to stay in the shade because in the summertime it gets extremely hot.
Yeah.
So you have to have somebody that has that drive, that like to earn a few dollars. So I like working with youth because it gives them something to do. Sometime in today's society, some of these young folks have to fend for themselves on a lot of things, or because they got multiple brothers and sisters or family members. So, and I like working with them because it's a life lesson. It's not just about cutting grass. It's about, how to deliver a service, because each job that you take, and even in life, it's just when you get to your main job, is that you want to be able to deliver a product, whether yourself or whatever, to the best of your ability. So with this landscaping, it's so technical because of the hedges and the grass. You want lines and the trimming and all things, and it's just like a little format, just like in football. It's just certain things you have to do to prep for life, and this is part of it. It's just a teaching and learning lesson. That's why I like working with youth when I'm doing it.
I understand, and I completely agree. When I left the game of football, I really I found that there were a lot of things that I learned from playing the game that I could use outside of that world, in other fields that I'm in. So I definitely understand what you're saying. In terms of this current climate that we're in, right? We're in a different time right now. Things are really surreal, and a lot of people aren't able to work, unfortunately. But for someone like yourself, you're still out there. You're still able to work and bring in an income. So, how's the current climate been for you? Have you been affected by this at all, where you've lost work, unfortunately, or are you just as busy, if not busier?
I'm actually busier. For a minute, it slowed down because it was a scare at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as for my main job, which is Pitt, it kind of slowed down. But my landscaping just kicked off even greater because of the fact that you're not around really a bunch of people. You're able still to do your work. Also, a lot of people don't like doing that type of work, so that's a little
Mm-hmm.
ground labor. But in me, I take it as exercise. I mean, it keeps my body fit. Muscles I got there, yeah, keeps you in shape. Because they always talking about exercise and what's better than pushing a lawnmower, you
I
know,
understand.
and
Yeah.
getting that work in. So, but yeah, my business has grown over the last couple of years. It's just been crazy. But it's just that I look at people's properties, man, and you can tell work is not really hard. If you have a couple of pieces of lawnmower, it's easy to start because you can just walk around your neighborhood. You can see yards that are not manicured, and you can just take a knock on the door and solicit business if that's what you want to do. There's ways to get a stream of income legally. You know what I'm saying? You can go in, knock on the door, ask customers if they need something. They want this done. And as you start, you home in on your skills. Start small, work your way up, and you can save money, buy additional equipment to build it as big as you wanted to build it. Or if you need something in a hot second, it's a way to provide for your family in tough times because the work is out there. Everybody have houses, don't take care of their yard, but they want somebody to. So
Yeah.
it's a business that's out there that is it's a lot of landscaping companies, and you can be as big or small as you want.
Yeah. So at this point, how many lawns do you manage and take care of?
Right now, I'm around 43 to I'm around 43 yards, 43,
Wow.
45, somewhere in
And
that range.
I think you said on the phone before we did the interview, before we started the podcast, you don't want any more right now.
No, not right now. Yeah, my hands are
What do you think is if I were to get started tomorrow, right? And I'm interested in starting my own lawn management company, whether it's a full-fledged company or just something on the side, right? What are some basic things I can utilize to get started? Just a few tools or a few, pieces of equipment to get started.
well, in this day, if you can start off with a lawnmower,
Mm,
purchase one, even if it's not the most expensive one, if it's a used one, as long as the blades are sharp,
yeah.
definitely you'll have to have a lawnmower. I say one of the second items, I would say a gas can, because you're gonna have to put gas in your lawnmower. Third, you may want to invest in a weed eater, weed whacker, and then a broom, because eventually when you start to earn, then you can move up to a blower or something, because you always, once you make a mess, you want to clean it up so the look is better, or just as good or better than it was before you got there.
Hmm.
So those are items that are, I think, are essential for us to start.
Yeah,
But
and
then
then go ahead, go ahead.
I said, but then, like you're saying, you gradually can grow your business as just remember, it takes a few times to get the things that you want, but once you start developing a base, a customer base, then you can start adding a couple of more tools to your trade to make it easier.
And what would those tools be as they add on, one thing after another? Because as a photographer, there are things I'd say start off with this, and then as you get some more money and some more business, get this lens or that lens or right or this filter.
Right.
So what about you? What are some
Yeah,
things that they
that's
can
the
add on
thing.
slowly but surely?
Well, you can add on hedge clippers, blowers, which makes the job easier for you. So you can start off with an electric one. Then you have to carry a wire around, and hopefully the customer has a outdoor plug. Then you can gradually grow to a gas one. You know what I'm saying? I started off with the blower. When I first started doing hedge trimming, it was only one blade going in one direction,
Mm-hmm.
from electric one, and then it went to double sided. So I just, invested in equipment to make the job easier. But then the cord got tiring because everybody didn't have access, or a customer wasn't home. You could plug the power in, and you had to come back. So I invested in a gas, saved money up, invested in the gas head. And once I started doing the gas head, it just made it easier. It's just, I was able to come in. I didn't need the customers to be home in order to trim bushes. So from there, I went to the larger one, a longer one, which I can reach trees, and it's just gradually grew the pace. So
Wonderful, wonderful. And when you're in lawn management, you don't just simply, cut the grass or cut the hedges or whatever it may be, or clip the hedges. You also have to understand, hey, something's wrong with this portion of the lawn, or hey, if you want to have flowers or trees, you want to get this type of flower tree based on the climate that you're in, right? So,
right.
how knowledgeable would you say people need to be on just nature in general, and what resources can people go to, whether it be online or a book, or asking certain people at a store to learn more about, what's best suited for a climate, and what type of grass they should have, or what, type of manure or whatever it may be they should bring in to help the grass grow and get back to good health, or whatever else they have on their lawn.
So, well, back when I started, it was the encyclopedias. So, but now today's society, we have the internet, which
Yes,
is
sir.
a
Yes,
very
sir.
useful tool. So, any questions that you have about any type of grass or weeds that grow, I mean, it's just at the touch of your fingers. If you
Yes,
have
sir.
the smartphone, you can just bring it up in Google. What's the best process for it. So, the internet has been definitely a good educational tool. Um, to help me in my way, because if I don't know an answer, I look, and if they don't know, then I go a little farther. or just seek out, and it's always good to uh, keep an open mind because we act like we know everything, but we really don't. So, you know what I mean? So it's just good to hold the face of a customer, ask you a question about something that you really don't know. You just say, well, I'll get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but like you're saying, I study up the tools of the trade that I know. Like I'm saying, there's variety sites online that you can uh, talk about or go to, and they'll tell you whatever you need to know about with the soil. Now they have places that if you're having grass problems or issues, that you can actually send samples of your soil to, and they'll give you a write up or
Wow.
and tell you what you need to do. Yeah, so that stuff is available.
Do you know the name of that company or the name of that type of resources?
Well, not offhand, but
Okay. But you
then
can
at a later
just look it
time I
up.
can look. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's ways you can look it up. Yeah,
That's
but this is
wonderful.
a local company in Pittsburgh that does that.
Okay. Okay. Wow. 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 So you also said you're a jack of all trades, right? So you're not just into
Yes.
lawn management, but you do other things. So what are those other skills that you have?
Oh man, I always call myself the jack of all trade, master of a few. 'Cause I touch everything: painting, to creating, steps, porches, whatever. And I'm not afraid to tackle because, like I'm saying, the stuff that has been done in my house, uh, I pay attention and I learn. I can see something one time, and then the next step I can create it myself the next time. So it's just like I saying, I do the car detailing. I do stuff that I liked as a youth. I like to keep my car clean. So I actually turned that into a business. I have about 15 customers for detailing cars because it's something else that kind of relaxes me. So,
Wow.
you know, yeah, it's just build fences. It's just all kind of stuff. It's just a task at hand. I don't like I say. I'm not afraid to. I know wiring light systems, doing fans, installing fans in houses, all kind of different things. Like I said, I look at people that do things at my place and mimic it.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, Mr. Jon, you're an amazing person, remarkable person, and I appreciate everything you do for me and my family. It means a lot that you came onto this podcast. That's everything I really wanted to touch upon and talk to you about. Is there anything else that you would like to say or like to add? Any last message to give people?
Oh,
Say it again.
well, like I'm saying, in this day and age, man. So it's like you're saying, it's tough out here, but there's ways to make income. There's a lot of things that you can do. Just look around your neighborhood. Somebody always needs something. If you go up there in a presentable manner, uh, and knock and ask, because I know a lot of people nervous because of people trying to take advantage of people. But knock and ask, or if you know neighbors that can recommend you for a job, whether it's taking stuff out of people's basements or just to start off with building relationships to uh, helping them with different items, and then they can pass your name on because just because of the work I've done, I'm getting calls from I forget what the group is called. It's something like some type of neighborhood thing where
Hmm.
if they want to recommend a person to do jobs and stuff, and just from being a kind, nice person, generally, and you can do whatever you want to do. You can make whatever you want to make, even in these hard times, because there's a lot of work out there that people don't like doing themselves. That if you don't mind doing it, you can make a living from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And actually, I do have one last question. If I'm a parent who has a child, and my child may not know exactly what it is that they want to do, right? And their child's good with their hands, right? How would what would you say to those parents to encourage them, or to give them insight on how to encourage their child to look into a field where they get to work with their hands and use those skills and gifts that they were born with?
Okay, that's a good question, and I have a good answer for you. Um, College is not for everybody,
Hmm.
and it's a lot of jobs out there that you can make $30, $40 an hour on by working with your hands. I would tell the parent to, if the kid is not a straight up college kid, excuse me 1 second.
Oh, it's okay. That's okay.
What they can do is look. A lot of community colleges have programs that are based in their schools, that whether it's electricians, whether it's plumbers, whether it's what else? It's all kind of different job opportunities that have skills where people just do work with their hands. May not be the best book person or school knowledge person, but they can learn a trade. And trade schools they have. Another thing that they can look into. And I think that it gives them opportunity to do whatever. Because like I'm saying, college is not for everyone. But you got a lot of millionaires that never went to college. So
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
saying to skip that part as the second level education. But if you can seek out something that you can do and find that can help you create a different type of lifestyle for your family, by all means, you got to take it. Because I used to tell kids, which I have some successful kid that was under my tutelage. One's an engineer for Bobcat. He has like 200 people under him. You know what I'm saying? Makes a great salary. And he started off in my landscaping company.
Wow.
Another kid, same thing. And that was a general manager at a Walmart that actually started with me. And the same thing, they used to ask me, "Hey, Coach Carter, could you give me $1 so I can get something to eat?" I was like, "I'm not going to give you $1, but I'm going to show you how to make it." And I
Back to
used that
Uncle
same
Leroy.
thing from my uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to Uncle Leroy. And these kids are successful today. Now I'm working with actually some of their nephews, that work with my company now, that because of that, gave them a nice life lesson, gave them a nice work ethic. We work hard, work long, but we play hard. You know what I mean? So
Wonderful. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Jon, thanks again. I really appreciate you coming on to the show. Again, everyone, this is the Only Essential Podcast. This is episode 1. Again, Mr. Jon said that he has so many clients right now, he's not ready to take on anymore. So we won't plug any information for you to contact him. However, hopefully in the future we can bring him back onto the show and he can spread some more wisdom and share some more words with us for us to learn and grow together. So again, when you're at home, make sure you're looking up different services or products in your region, and do business with these Black businesses that offer these essential opportunities for folks. And if it's an online service, do the same there. Again, let's learn and grow together. Let's have these conversations and let's move forward. Okay. Again, this is Randall Coleman. This is the Only Essential Podcast. I'll see you all next time. Peace.